said? God said, what I'm about to give you will not make you prosperous. God just said, all the things I'm going to give you that you've been looking for, all the things you've been praying to get, God said, I'm about to give them to you, but they won't make you prosperous. The fact Brother Taylor got a big crowd here don't mean that he got prosperous. The fact that you got what you were trying to accomplish, the fact God gave you what you asked for, doesn't mean you've become prosperous. God gives a little prosperity here. Now look at this, because he uses a word that flashes. He says, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good. Underscore the word good. Then thou shalt have good success. My friend, the fact there is such a thing as good success means there's also such a thing as bad success. You know what's destroying us? Most Christians tonight have gotten a hold of bad success. We live in a world that is crazed with the notion of success. By the way, I've never met a man who wanted to be a failure. I've never met anybody who walked up to me and said, my goal in life, you know, is to fail. I just love to fail. Every person in this room wants to be a success. You know what the tragedy is? If you're not real careful, you will be a bad success. We've got churches that have become a bad success. They're growing in number. They've got buildings that are spectacular. People flood to fill their auditoriums. They've got success. But it's a bad success. God says, I want you, my child, to have a good success. A good one. I came to my third year in law school. I did not like law school. I didn't like school, period. Brother Colston, I got to confess, I have never enjoyed going to school. I say this with all deference to the faculty of this incredible school. Every person who stood up there, first of all, I said, if you know so much, what are you doing here? And I said, if you know so much, why don't you go do something? And by the end of the course, I was positive they didn't know so much. Now, I had a bad attitude in school. And most of you had that same attitude. No, don't you? Don't laugh at me. Boy, you've had that same one. Boy, thank God for these professors who've given their life to make the lives of the kids. I never went to a school where those professors were there to make our lives. Last year of law school, Dean called in. He said, I want to do something. He said, we're going to have a class we've not had before. And he said, we'd like you to take it. He said, it's going to be called medical jurisprudence. I said to him, what is that? By the way, you will discover in college in particular, the title of a course has nothing to do with the course. Nothing. I mean, somebody just made it up. That's all. And then they go in and do what they want to do. I said, what is it going to be? He said, we are going to take some students, and he said, we want to take a handful of law students and a handful of second-year medical students from the medical school, put them together and teach you anatomy. I said, you mean we're going to study the human body? He said, right. I thought, that's real easy. I'm good at memory. That's how I got through school. I would memorize it, go take the test, and on the way out the door, clean my mind again and go on with life. And that's how most of you got through school, right? I mean, so I thought I'll be glad to do this. I went home and told my wife, honey, you'll remember this. They've asked me to take this course. I really don't want to mess with it, but it's the last semester of law school. The dean's asked me personally, I need to go do it. And we're going to study anatomy. She said, anatomy? She said, you're going to be a lawyer. Why do you? I said, I don't know, but I've taken all kinds of courses. I don't know what they got to do with. I said, I'll take another one. I don't know what it's got to do with. I got a little slip in the mail. Said, this class, going to meet every Saturday morning for 5 hours. I thought, that's a bummer. Saturday? Showed up at the law school for the first class. My best friend's in the class, Tom. Tom and I are sitting there. He said, you got roped into this too? I said, yeah. In walks this medical doctor. He says, my name's Dr. So-and-so. I'm here to teach this. I'll be your instructor. He said, you all are here to study anatomy. He said, we're not going to hold it in this room. He said, if you'll follow me, I'll take you to where we're going to hold this class. We walked out into the hall, down the steps. We walked out of the law school. I turned to my friend. I said, that whole building's empty. Wonder why they don't hold it. He said, we're going to probably hold it at the medical school. He said, you know, half the class is second-year medical students. I said, yeah, right, good thought. We turned the corner, walked towards the medical school, and walked right on by it. We go around the corner, down the street, and we come to a building called the morgue. We walk into the morgue. Now, you have to understand, the morgue has an odor that to this day I can taste. It smells like somebody has spilled Clorox everywhere. I turned to my friend. I said, Tom, what are we doing here? He said, I don't know. We walked in, found out they had an amphitheater there. Series of rows of seats with a floor. Doctor said, sit down in one of the chairs. Boy, we went and sat down. We weren't sitting there but just a minute, and the doors at one end open. They were hospital kind of doors that somebody would punch a button and they go, boom. Those doors went, boom. And they rolled a cart in. Now, I didn't know a lot about anatomy, but you could tell there was a sheet on that cart. And the silhouette under that sheet was a body. My friend turned to me and he said, what do you think that is? I said, no, just relax, just relax. I'm telling you right now, I said, look at these medical school students. I said, they think this is funny. I said, this is a joke. I said, there's either a medical school student under that sheet or one of those skeletons they're always walking around with. On this campus, I mean, they'd go walking down the street with these bones over their shoulder everywhere. And I said, they've either got that stretched out underneath there or one of them is a... But I said, you watch, that's not a body. I'm telling you, it's not. He said, okay, okay. The doctor came in. He said, gentlemen, step down here, please. He said, I want you to stand around the table. And we stood around the table. At that point, that doctor reached up, took the ends of that sheet, and he went like this. Under there